Easy.
Boy, put you down on the end. You came.
So I said, I can't even talk about it. No, I didn't say that.
You dumb yourself down.
Dennis.
What?
I gave you the gavel. Unless Cindy does want to run it. She's on the Google chat, so.
Get up once I lay there for 5 hours, they right down until midnight. I couldn't bend over. And I got home. I had to call the nurse to come in.
Well, that's what I've done.
Before I forget again, email me the address or email address for your new business manager.
If you can get all that online too, it's hip@ISD1.
It's not there the last time I looked, that's why I asked. Albeit it was a week ago, so.
She should be up there.
Okay, there she is now.
It's up there.
Okay, it wasn't the last time I looked, that's why I asked.
Okay, yep, it should be on there.
And I have to speak rather loud and distinctly with this on, so I'm not irritated.
Can you show me who's on there for board members?
Right now we have John Sheets going like so much. We only have 2 lots, I don't know what's going on, I'm assuming we should have more.
You'll have to do it, I think that's all. So, I'm going to need a favor of you, Brianna, and I, that out the door. My recording device, so you know.
Cindy, you there?
You'll pick that up, Jonathan's going to pick that up.
This again?
Very stern.
No.
Like that.
I don't have to say your side or mine.
The problem is with this cage being the way it is, it's going to pick up the vibration from the floor rather than it's going to pick up anything else. There's nothing I can do about that. And this is the part of the meeting that I'm not going to be watching online, so I got to get a recording. Sure.
Yeah, call roll. So you're able to hear me? Are you? Can you hear me? Go up once join.
A month ago, it was a wet wall. I would know. It took me out to ship more than that. I put it on. I wish I thought people would do some spread for like toilets and get that snow on the Oh, God, it's so nice to have snow on top of it. It's got to warm up. It's got to get moisture right now. Got halfway down there, quit raining. We got to get hold of me.
There's a microphone right up there. You want that right away? Should I take my way down there now? I don't know if they're going to move the visitors' comments first, so you might want to wait. I will.
Last week in the rain also, and the bites on shade, it's about 8 o'clock. I probably think that's it. I'm done. Buying more a week ago. Take care. Right.
What's starting the fire and rain in the city building?
Yeah. Downtown.
Yeah, the city building was the city. Yeah.
I'd be all. Break now, that's just like our courthouse. Do it. I couldn't. I did put it nice.
Wow. Yeah, I couldn't. Yeah, well, we're on there. City ain't very steep.
Yeah.
There, yeah, no, can't get out.
Got it next time.
I want to see him in there. See if it works. I'm trying. City,
I would not have been it is just
not able to get the, all that
All the pictures of this. And then he just up and just go.
city already. City Hills, do you hear me? John, should we come here?
Do they need to unmute themselves or do you? Can you unmute everybody again?
No.
Just fine. You can run a school with a virus, but you can't unmute.
Sorry, everybody, we're having some technical difficulties.
Dan, tell me what you see now.
Can you hear me? No, can you hear me? Can you hear me on your computer? All right.
Paper was a lot easier.
Cindy, can you hear me? No, goodness. I can't. You have your camera on or off? That's fine. I'm just trying to figure out who's got what going on. Good, thank you. Cindy Hills, can you hear me? Yep, Bill's in. John's here. Bill's here. So, we lost him. got his mic off the way it looks. Yeah, that's what I will once we're going. All right. You ready? It'd be easier to have Dennis lead the meeting since he's here.
Yes.
Well, you say head nods. Dennis, you lead the meeting.
You don't? I will.
Well, all right. Dennis will.
Okay.
Okay, we'll call the regular meeting of the order. Roll call by clerk. All present in one form or another. We have what?
Speaking your mic.
So we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance.
Can you hear that?
Pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the agenda. Is there?
I'll make a motion.
Second. Kevin and Joe. Nobody want anything removed? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Dennis, can I, with the agenda, and maybe I should have before you approved it, but would like to move, I have the graduation part in my comments at the end of the meeting, and then move that up so I can explain what our plan is, recommended plan is, prior to the comments from visitors, so everybody's, so we have some scheduled presentations, and then I think it's Laura here.
Yep.
So we'll do that, and then before we do comments from visitors, I just want to let off what the graduation plan is. All right?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right.
And anybody here from high school student council? Excuse me, I got quite a glare here.
Say no, you want to shut your mic off unless you're talking.
Nobody from high school, middle school student council? If not, Laura.
Is this on? All right. I'll try to stay 6 feet actually. Okay, so I sent you guys, I included in the board book some of the reports that I pulled. One of them is the budgeted expenses versus actual expenses for community ed. We budgeted 162, we had actual expenses of 116, so we were well under with that. We had a budgeted revenue of 66,000. We were a little bit under, about 4,500 under that. It's kind of a funky year, obviously, in that we've already taken in revenue for programs that we haven't paid out for, the spring programs that are still to be determined. We're still waiting on that, for direction on that. We're hoping we can get our summer programming up and running in June. We're still kind of sitting on the fence as with the rest of the state regarding that. Kids Club is doing great too. Budgeted expenditures, 41,000. Actual expenditures, about 24,000. Budgeted revenues, 30,000. With about we're about 5,500 under that, so that's pretty good too. We have 1,600 participants in our programs year to date. 900 of those are unique users, so 900 individual people, 1,600 registrations. Basically, overall, we're trying to spend less and bring in more to cover everything. So, any questions?
So has our cost, has our cost for the kids club and all that stuff gone up with the COVID stuff, or what's going on there?
Well, we haven't been able to have Kids Club.
Okay.
Kids Club shut down when the state shut down.
Okay.
And so that was one of the programs that just there's been no revenue coming in from that. But Kids Club hasn't incurred any expense from that. And so that's been kind of non-existent. That's why the numbers are going to look a lot different.
Okay.
So, but we've got a lot of positive things going on where we have a couple of grants with the Northland Foundation. Our Fellows program this summer has been approved by the Northland Foundation, and that should be up and running. And then We have a new grant that starts July 1st. It's a 2.5-year grant that is all intergenerational programming related. So $40,000 to spend building programs that are intergenerational in nature. So we were doing, I got some ideas for that in the works.
Have you seen the number of programs stay consistent? Like quantity from year to year?
Some, there's only my second year. And so the new program that we have that tracks the registration is so much better than what they've used in the past, so the reports are a little bit different. I have seen an increase in the last 2 years. It's also interesting, like I always say to my assistant body, I'm like, it's like throwing a noodle on the wall and seeing what sticks. Sometimes we'll do the same program and it's half the number of people, and I think sometimes it's just the date or what's going on in town. Small town like this, there could be hopefully a football game one night and there's nothing going on, So, but for the most part, our programs are up, our sports participation programs, our youth programs are way up. And so that's one of the changes in the last 2 years that we made. So.
In answer to Kids Plus, we are looking at listening to some guidance will allow us to do some things. Allow us to do some things where we would, again, focus on the Tier 1, Tier 2, and then open it up for kids beyond that. And that would be a 4-pay program.
Yeah.
We're still working through, Laura has just did some emails today with her. I know she's looking at the guidance we got last Thursday afternoon to figure out what we can do there. So we'll also be serving meals as part of, part of that necessary. But again, we'll be providing meals throughout the summer like we had previous summers. So.
Yeah, we're really hoping to get the kids, the summer kids club up and running by as soon in June as we can. Have it structured, be very similar to the past. But we're not alone in this. I just saw Brainerd posted yesterday on their community ed page today that they don't know what they're doing yet either. So it's kind of a universal sit and wait.
Any other questions?
Awesome, thanks.
Thanks, Laura.
Do they need to be approved or?
Just an update.
Okay, so now we want to bring up the discussion on the graduation.
Right, I understand that's why at the beginning of the year I heard from a number of people concerns about graduation, or just really questions about graduation. So I want to lay out what my recommendation has been or will be to the board, and then discussion from there. But our plan A, whatever plan A was after the COVID pandemic shutdown, or whatever you want to call it, we had a plan that seemed like it would work, meeting the guidelines that were laid out, or that we thought we were going to get, where we do graduation on the football field. We would block off basically 10-yard squares for each student and a couple of other parents and maybe a sibling, and we would do graduation on the football field. The latest guidance that came out, well, it's a week and a half ago, prohibits, according to the guidance recommends, prohibits that we don't have the garage or the football field type large group graduation. A lot of schools are doing them on their parking lots. When we start looking at our parking lots, we have a number of small parking lots. We really don't have a big open parking lot area to work on. So we went back to the football field, and as long as it stays dry, I just hope it does, we believe we can get cars out there or have cars on the field, each graduate and his family or her family, and do graduation, run the ceremony. And everything's really going to be the same as it was. The only difference is that we're going to have students and their families stay in their cars. We'll have the cars, the students announce car pull up on the north, on one end of the field. They'll get out and come across the front end of the bleachers, receive their diploma, and then as they continue across the bleachers, come down and back onto the field where we have some type of photo area, photo opportunity where parents or whoever can snap some photos there, and then when they get back in the car and go back to their place, and then the next graduate will be coming across the front of the bleachers to do the same thing with their family. Paul Corrales and Sherry Sandbeck have done a lot of coordinating, trying to figure this out. But the thing I like about this plan is if something would open up where we wouldn't need the cars, it's really the same plan. It would just be a matter of saying, you don't need to be in your car, bring lawn chairs instead. and we'll go about it that way. Paul, am I forgetting anything? I think that's pretty much the plan. We'll end graduation with hopefully being led by the police and fire department and parade, a graduation parade around town, having the kids and their families follow in that, and kids can decorate cars and do those types of things as well. So I know this isn't what anybody or everybody wants. I'm really trying to work within the guidelines given to us by MDE and Minnesota Department of Education and Minnesota Department of Health to try and give our seniors a graduation, and that's my recommendation. That's what I'll be recommending to the board. So I wanted to have that out there, because I know a number of you are here. Some of you are here. You want to comment or share some thoughts on that. So I just wanted to make sure everybody knew what I'm recommending. So with that, Dennis.
Yeah, Joel, I just had a question. If there was any consideration given to, since the governor gave the go-ahead to all things being normal, with the exception of probably some guidelines that may follow, if we've given any consideration to moving graduation for these kids and their families to Friday the 5th, or Saturday the week after.
Right, and that's always an option. And we don't know, I know things are changing all the time. The only thing that's consistent is that nothing's consistent. I guess I'd be open to that. I don't know if adding a week later or 2 weeks later, I know it seems like the first part of June, some things might be changing in regulations and rulings, but there's no guarantee of that either. We might move it a week or 2 weeks and we're still basically doing the same thing, but I'd be open. I think we're open to that, Mr. Krellis, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And I understand that's great, but I think we should, if I'm not speaking on behalf of parents here, because I've had conversations with some of you, and I appreciate the input, and especially the passion that goes into wanting to make this a special event for seniors. It should be. It's a once-in-a-lifetime deal. But if that is what it takes to make the difference, so we can have a true graduation celebration and ceremony on the field, I think we should consider it.
Well, I guess with the notice that you sent me today, you got my message. I don't understand what the difference is between government meeting and private meeting, why we can have 10 people at this. I don't understand that.
Yeah,
Like it seems like a double standard to me.
They were dealing with a number of double standards.
Right. So I guess I was called by one parent today of a graduate, and they were really in favor of the first plan,
Right.
where you had the chairs set up, or they brought their own chair. Is that what was going to be? I don't know. I don't know what the whole plan was. And they even said they would prefer that if they had to wait till June 5th or something like that. I don't know.
And that was the first plan. Again, I visited with Pemberton Law Firm regarding this, and they're discouraging everybody to get out of the car for liability purposes, and that's what they've been doing, is trying to waive.
I can hear Dan as long as we've got the mic.
Say, Noel, your speaker's out here.
Everybody else.
I'm sorry. Forgot where I was now. The liability behind it is, when we try to do everything we do is we try to minimize the liability, and when they laid out the plan with staying in the car, they said it seems like you're doing as much as you can to minimize the liability. We're still assuming some liability for not, the guidelines said keep everybody in the car and come up and hand the diploma through the window and that. We're trying to provide, I think the big part of graduation is being able to come across the stage or come across someplace to be honored. And we're trying to do that. I know there's photo ops is another part of it. We're trying to create a spot for that. I'm not again. We could postpone it a week and June 5th say, yep, you don't need to be in the cars, and we'd be all set to do that as well. But I don't know. I don't know if that'll happen. I get a feeling like maybe they've dug their heels in a little bit and are going to stick to this. But that's just my gut feeling, and I've been wrong on what the government or governor or MDE or Department of Health is going to do a number of times here. So I shouldn't even go that way anymore. Cindy wants to say something here. Go ahead, Cindy.
I just wondered, Mr. Ryan, regarding changing that date, was that something that parents had asked? I mean, I know we had consistently throughout the school distance learning said that we would continue with graduation being on the date that it's set. And so I just wondered how many families have already made plans or if that would include other people because we've been consistent about saying the specific date.
Great question. So all accept full responsibility for.
Did you guys hear that when I?
No.
Go ahead.
Cindy's just asking if it would have an impact on families that may be already planning for the 29th, because we've been consistently saying we're graduating on the 29th. If we move it, if that would have an impact on families. So,
And my response, Cindy, is I'll take responsibility for suggesting that we go a week later. As soon as I heard the governor last week and knowing the feedback that I got to this point about the desire to have this together for the seniors and for their families, we're 5 days after, 7 days after, and we can host it and accomplish the same thing. So it was my suggestion, and I've talked with parents since then, Cindy, who said, yeah, if that's what it takes to make it happen, it's a good idea.
Go ahead, Cindy. Did you hear that?
Yes, thank you. Would it be possible if we were going to change the date to do a survey out to all of those seniors to have them comment back? What are we going to do if the governor makes even more strict standards and now we miss the opportunity to even do it as an in-harm opportunity? I don't think that our COVID numbers are going to get better in the next 2 weeks. I think they're going to get worse.
Well, and there are experts that say the COVID numbers are going to get better. So I understand So I think we're going to hear from a student representative as well. I'm not opposed to doing this survey if that's what it takes. But we do have some parents and some students here.
So how many? I'm assuming most of the people here are about graduation. Raise your hand. All of them. Is there anybody here that does not want to have a graduation ceremony? No, I want to know. Okay. Is there anybody here opposed to waiting till the 5th or whatever?
That'd be 1 week.
waiting 1 week.
Right. Yeah. But I'm not seeing any hands. Oh, sorry. The lights are just terrible.
Yes, sir.
So you're opposed to that? Okay.
Danny, McGregor used to do it a long time ago. They always waited a week after they graduated. It was just standard. And they'd lose, well, there's not as many kids here, but they lost quite a few kids that go there to watch the class, or their cousins, my wife's cousin. And there'd be kids missing because they had plans, and that'd be the only thing here. These are these ones, but what about the other ones? You know, they've got plans.
Well, 1 year.
Right. But I mean, everybody.
The other thing I think we have to remember is that we're going to make a decision for the greater good here is the fact that, remember, graduation is a voluntary ceremony. There's no mandate. You earn your credits, you're going to get a diploma. You have to go through that ceremony? No. And I think everybody understands it. I'm guessing Mr. Miller had that conversation with you. And yet, my understanding is, and this isn't my decision, it's the board's decision, but if there are enough of you that want that, then I think it's in the best interest of the board to consider.
The question I have is the liability. Have we talked to our law firm that suggested there'd be liability? And I would assume they're saying to restrict potentially the passing of the coronavirus. For the hour that we're at a graduation ceremony and the hundreds of places that everybody voluntarily that is coming there has been, if they're going to try to say that potentially that COVID was passed, if it ever were, heaven forbid, at graduation ceremony, as a school, we're liable for a lot of things. We're liable for a second grade class that's missing 20 kids with a flu virus in the middle of the winter, sent home, and there's 8 kids sitting in the classroom that can infect their grandparents or great-grandparents. We're liable for a bus that gets hit. We're liable for a kid getting hit on the sidewalk. We're liable for a lot of things. And ultimately, if that's, we're going to make a decision whether we have it on the 9th or June 5th, based on liability or because the state's going to open June 1st, I disagree with the fact that we shouldn't continue. If we social distance 15 feet more, and not 10 feet, there's still plenty of room on a 300-foot football field. And the way that Paul had it planned on with Dan and Sherry, this is how you'll arrive. You'll arrive and run right to your row. You'll have ahead of time where you're going to sit. The name tag will be there. You don't interact with anybody. To be on the field with your parents after what these seniors have had to encounter over the last 3.5 or 3 months, I think we owe it to them. If they want to come and the families want to come, great. Again, as Joe said, it's voluntary. As you'll learn in college, that go to college, it's voluntary to go through that, walk through that ceremony. So if you want to come, great, and be a part of it. And if you don't, you'll still get a diploma at the end.
Cindy has go ahead, Cindy.
I just wanted to make a comment about the liability situation. The items that Mr. Jansen was referring to, you are correct in that we would have liability as a school district. The difference between that and now is our liability coverage for the school would protect us as individuals and it would protect the school. This situation creates a gross negligence standard for us, which means that it crosses over the school, so the school would not have insurance to cover the claim. And under a gross negligence standard, we would personally be subject to personal lawsuits as well. So that's what the difference is between our other standard, like general liability insurance to cover for the things that you cited versus what's different here.
That's meaning though, Cindy, that it's proved that actually happened there. That has to be proved that. Everybody in this auditorium has been to a grocery store, to a hardware store, to a Costco, and so the proof that it was passed at a graduation ceremony in an hour time span is going to be very hard to prove.
Especially
that I do not carry a personal general liability insurance. So that means that I would be on the hook to personally defend myself, and I would be on the hook to pay out any sort of issue that would possibly happen. And I think everybody knows in this day and age, most, like 97% of cases settle out of court, they don't actually go to trial. So while I do agree with you that it would be difficult to prove that, what would happen is that all of the other that hundreds of places that they have been, those are potentially all okay places to be, and so there wouldn't be any liability issue for them because they would have liability coverage. The difference for us is that this crosses over the school and falls back on us personally to defend and to pay out, or even to defend the student that costs money.
Are we bound to this liability with a standard flu bug?
Did you hear that, Cindy?
No. What I'm saying is that what creates the liability is not necessarily the health condition. What creates the liability is that we have been given a directive by MCD and the governor that we're supposed to act a certain way, and when we choose to act a different way, it opens up the door to us being sued personally. So what I'm saying is your general flu bug would be covered by the school's insurance. This would not be covered by the school's insurance.
So if Walmart's covered by Walmart or the federal government?
Walmart, if you have the coronavirus in Walmart, Walmart's general liability insurance would cover it as long as they were acting prudently in accordance with the governor's order. If they were not following the governor's order, then their general insurance would not cover it, and they would personally be on the hook.
I think you just said the key word, Cindy, acting prudently, because I believe with the plan that Paul put together and the administrative team, parents that have been involved, the seniors that have been involved, that not only will we have a great opportunity for them to celebrate graduation at the same time, I don't have any doubt that people are going to comply with the safety standards that are set forth. Chief of Police is in the back of the room, and they're willing to help in any way possible to make this as safe to the standards that we need to be to make it happen. So, again, this isn't a dictate from the school board. My way is our way of saying, if this is what the parents and the seniors want to do after the June 1 date, then I think it's in our best interest to support them.
So according to, are you back there, Tim?
Yes.
Can you come up here, please? I have a question.
Just what we expected.
I just have a comment before you ask your question, Danny, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
You know, these seniors in here have been on probably 25 to 30 field trips in their high school, elementary career, and I would have to assume they've all signed waivers of some sort to go on a field trip. And I think we could potentially, if they're willing to do so, sign a waiver if they wanted to participate in graduation.
If I could address that, I did talk with Pemberton Law Firm about doing a waiver, and they said nobody would draft a waiver that would go against the recommendation of NDE or Department of Health. So if we did something, we wouldn't have support or help from the law firm to do that. So waivers are typically things that you're allowed to do, but there might be a risk. Right now, we're not supposed to do this, so they wouldn't do a waiver to allow it. But I guess
A lot of law firms out there.
Okay, my question, Tim, is, well, Dan sent me that text this morning about if you're having a government meeting, you can have more than 10 people.
That is correct.
What's a government meeting?
Any government body, I talked to your superintendent this morning and felt that you fall under that. So any federal, any state, anything to do with government, they are allotted to have more than 10 people. They're exempt. They're still supposed to try to separate, like they're all doing here, separate family members. But anybody else, so like the Moose Club cannot have a meeting inside their building. So they are still not authorized.
The Moose, right?
The Moose, so private. But
Obviously, they're not federal.
right.
Is the school federal, state, what are we?
It's a government structure, so you work with the government, and that's why they said you would be exempt from the 10 people every meeting.
So what's the difference? My question would be, you're supposed to enforce the rules, right?
Correct.
So is this any different than a graduation ceremony if you're separating it?
So our job is to educate, and I've been working with Dan, your superintendent. We've been having discussions as far as any criminal action, what you're talking about. I don't see any violations, but I am not the superintendent or school board member that has to make this decision. And I do get your Department of Education. You're supposed to get guidance from Department of Health. They're supposed to be giving you guidance, and that's how that's supposed to work. We are the enforcement piece at this time, and what I've been shown, I believe it's the one you talked to me about. I don't see any violation when it comes to the law.
Okay,
But civilly, I'm not in that realm. Civil.
I was just saying, why don't we call a special school board meeting full graduation?
So my question would be to Paul. Would you have a graduation at the school? Would you go through with it if the school board authorized you to do the football field thing?
My boss would tell me what I'm going to do or not.
Here's what I was told. If we were going to go ahead with having on the football field, not in the cars, I should have a roll call vote done by the board directing us to do that, and then that would kind of protect myself, Paul and I, our administrative team, for doing a graduation that goes against it. We put the burden of that, or most of that, on the board as much as it does on us. I feel, and I understand everybody's comments. I understand the frustration that people have that you can go to any store, not any store, box stores or wherever, and have a large group of people there, and it's all individually, up to individuals to wear masks or to social distance and do that. But we're not allowed to do the same thing within the school, and I understand the frustration with that. Other than the senior parents or those people close to the seniors, I don't know if anybody feels that more so than Paul and I do. It is disheartening. It was disheartening when we got that memo. But my job as superintendent is to research, and I've done that. And I visited with a variety of people, a number of people, including your law firm, a number of times. I visited with the school board and superintendents association. I did follow up with our liability insurance company, and they said, as Cindy shared, that if we go against the recommendation, that could invalidate our liability coverage if something was able to come back. And I understand the risk of that is probably minimal, but the risk is still there. So I get all that. I'm not trying to do anything to harm or discourage the graduation celebration. I'm trying to create something within the parameters that are laid out. And I guess I feel my job is to make a recommendation which minimizes the amount of liability that we can take on as a school, and that's where I'm at with doing the graduation on the football field and having cars instead of just in the chairs. The idea is that'll limit some of the movement, some of the motion, and so on. But I'm sorry, I gave a long answer to a short question. I guess if we do something different than the cars, or the board wants to do that, I would ask that we do that in the form of a motion with a roll call vote, so we can get each board member on the line saying this is what I want to do.
David?
Yep. John?
Yeah. Just thinking about things here, sitting and listening to the discussion, and it's all good. But we are an educational institution. We do education. And sometimes we need to follow the rules. The rules are out there, the parameters are given by the governor and the Department of Ed. We need to be the adults here, follow the rules. We've got great merit for our discussion, but we need to follow the rules and the advice of the legal advisor. Dustin Turner, whatever we do, it has to be within those rules. End of story. We're education. We need to be educated and quit acting like calling in the kids and arguing about something that we can't deal with. We cannot change the rules. Thank you.
John, I'm just going to say, I don't think that's what we're acting like. We're trying to solve a problem here. I think everybody is taking this measure seriously. And if we got to go ahead from the governor a week ago that June 1 is the magic day, let's give them a graduation on June 5th, if that's what they desire.
And if I don't know if that's where people want to go, it would still have to be with the understanding that nothing might change by June 5th.
Yeah.
I mean, that's right, we don't. And that's the frustrating part with this. When we put our plan A together, for all practical purposes, it seemed like the guidance was going to be if small schools can figure out a graduation ceremony where you social distance, we'd be allowed to do that. So we put together a pretty good plan involving some people, and then guidance came out and said you can't do that plan. So I do feel with what I'm recommending with the cars, and if something does change where we can have it on the field or parking lot, if we got to call the football field the parking lot, without the vehicles, without cars, we can change that really easily. So I don't know, I didn't anticipate we go through a full discussion without people having a chance.
All right, that's what this is all about. Ultimately, it's transparency and getting this out in the open, and I'm glad to see everybody here, but I think before we do anything, we should allow, I believe, the student representative to say a few words on behalf of the class. And I'm not the chairperson, I just can see you anxious to talk.
Can you give us your name? Hannah Pollack.
And if you could speak up so we can, hopefully people on the hangout can hear. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm speaking to you today as a representative of the 2020 senior class. First, I'd like to say thank you to the administration and teachers for all the support and efforts that have been made to make up for what we lost this spring. The reason I'm here is I'd like to emphasize how important an in-person graduation ceremony is to our grade. We're a small class with only 69 students, and the majority of our grade is still the same kids that we were in kindergarten with. This makes our grade unique because we've truly grown up together in every aspect, and our small size has allowed us to become very close to one another. This year has brought circumstances that none of us could have ever imagined, and we've had so many opportunities stolen out of our grasp, opportunities that students dream about. A graduation ceremony would be the last chance for us to come together, conclude and celebrate our high school journey, and honor each other and the faculty that have helped us get to this point. If nothing else is able to be saved from our senior year, I think our graduation should be. I believe with the newest standards set by Governor Walz, a ceremony held at the football field while following social distancing protocols is the best idea in order to achieve the most respectable graduation for us seniors. While a drive-up graduation might be considered suitable, it would not live up to the recognition we deserve and the camaraderie that an in-person ceremony would offer. The seniors were asked to fill out a survey asking if they were willing to wait further into the summer if it meant that we would be able to have an in-person ceremony. 40 people responded, and 38 of the 40 said yes. They would rather wait and have a real ceremony than a makeshift graduation now. One student commented on the survey, "I think an in-person ceremony is absolutely necessary, even if we have to postpone it." Another comment made by a senior states, "I think an outdoor, open ceremony after the stay-at-home order is lifted would be good for the class of 2020. We, of course, understand and respect all safety concerns, but as long as there are no penalties being given to small schools who hold graduations and social distancing protocols are followed, I don't see any reason a ceremony would not be possible. School board, I and the class of 2020 appreciate your time today, and we hope you consider and support our strong desire to have an in-person graduation ceremony. I will leave you with this final thought. Imagine if an Olympic athlete trained tirelessly for 12 years, did everything in their power to succeed, and finally at the end of it all, they won their event. But they aren't allowed to stand on the podium, they don't have the fans cheering their name, and they aren't allowed to have a medal placed around their neck. What was it all worth?
Thank you. Anyone else that wants to speak? Come on, come up. Somebody.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Cummings. I wasn't planning on doing this, but I have a big mouth, so I have to. I wanted to say one thing real quick about the liability, and that's the reason why Bob isn't here tonight, my husband, because he is the insurance agent for the school district. But he started talking about this a couple days ago, that the insurance companies are doing endorsements and riders that are excluding coverage for COVID-19. So regardless of whether the insurance liability issue is voided, it's not covered anyway. It's going into effect tomorrow. So I just wanted to share that. And I was a little concerned about something that, or maybe confused, that Mr. Shute had stated, and that is that to follow the rules. And my understanding is that these are guidelines, not rules. And Aiken has always been really proud and doing things their own way. I mean, we invented the fish house parade. Come on. And I agree with everything that Hannah said. I'm here representing my son as well, who is a senior. And what he told me, he's at work, but what he told me was that he trusted the student representatives that were going to be here, and that if there was something that I felt he wanted to say, that I could do that for him. And I know that he's willing to wait a week if it means that everybody can be together out with their vehicles. Thank you for listening.
Thanks.
My name is Lisa Paulbeck. I'm a parent of a 2020 graduate, and I'm sorry I don't have anything prepared. I didn't plan on speaking tonight. I just feel pretty strongly about this. Have a list for you. The kids last spring sports season, canceled. Senior prom, canceled. Senior awards night and the scholarship ceremony, canceled. The class peer leader retreat, canceled. Senior skip day, the class trip, canceled. Their last band concert, canceled. The senior pop concert, canceled. Performing the musical in front of the entire community, indefinitely postponed. That's enough. It didn't really strike me until a member of my congregation talked to me the other day. She hugged me and patted me on the shoulder and said, "I know how hard it is." No, you don't. Until you have stood outside the bedroom door of your child, your strong, confident, capable child, and listen to them cry at night because they lost their entire senior year, you don't know. You don't. These kids deserve a real ceremony. And Mr. Stifter, I respect you. I appreciate the fact that you're willing to give them a drive-up ceremony. I'll tell you what, though. If all of these people back here that I'm embarrassed to be in front of right now were my peers, and I had worked my tail off for 13 years to walk across that stage and hear my name and hear my honors, and I'm looking out at them, and all I see is a field of cars, and I can't see the faces and the people, it's not the same. It's just not. It would feel empty and it would feel cold. Just my opinion, and it is an emotional issue, so I apologize. Thank you for your time.
Well, I'm a senior, and I don't pretend to speak for the whole class. I'm not a chosen representative, and Elena too. And it seems like a lot of kids feel differently than I do. However, I would like to say that I really like Mr. Stifter's proposal, especially considering that he is so considerate that he will allow us to get out of the car and walk to get our diploma. The high school where I'm planning to attend college in Brookings, South Dakota, is doing a ceremony just like this, and I think that it may be the closest thing to a good solution that we can salvage in these desperate times. I personally have no problem with postponing it. I think that some kids who maybe are moving to work, maybe they have to go into the military, might not be able to make it, and they would want to go. Like you said, it's a voluntary ceremony. But I think that these kids would want to be there. And so I'm a little bit concerned with them as to postponing it. And so I would just like to say that I really appreciate Mr. Stifter's proposal. And I don't know what the rest of my class feels like, but I feel like that's probably the best way to go.
Thank you. Anybody else? tonight or was it budget schedule?
Cindy wants to say something. You want to?
No, go ahead.
Go ahead, Cindy.
I just wanted to tell everyone that I appreciate their comments. I don't think that there's anybody in this school district that hasn't lost sleep over this. I think everyone, this whole world supports the class of 2020. Everyone feels horrible for them. And while maybe we have differing degrees of closeness to those students, everyone here wishes that we weren't in this situation. And so I just want everyone to know and to understand that we all wish that this was different. And we recognize that the kids deserve to have the best opportunities that they can have. And that's exactly what we want to do. The only thing that I think would be worse is to add a list of someone, who's gotten sick and who's died. And so there have been a lot of really tragic things that are happening, but there's tragic things that can come out with, depending on how this plays out, if it's an in-person situation. And we just don't have any way to control that. I also think that the administration has done the best that they can with what they could. I also agree with Mr. Shu in that as an educational institution, it's our role to be role models and to follow the guidelines and the rules. And I know that they phrased them as guidelines, but they also were very specific in what their punishment and consequence would be. So it reads more like the rule. And so I just want to say that I appreciate everyone's comments. I wish that we weren't in this situation. I just think it kind of comes down to our different moral and values. What I would like to propose is why don't we try to do both? Why don't we have the drive-through ceremony as planned either this Friday or on the 5th, whatever. And if it has an opportunity later in the summer to have it in person, we can redo it and have it in person. And so maybe that's the way to have a good compromise that would meet everybody.
Thank you. Say something?
Go ahead.
Yeah. So currently, I just want to add this point, is if tonight on the 10 o'clock news, Governor Walz said, hey, back to school, back to work, everybody back to normal life. Everybody in this room here would go back to what they're doing. We go back to school, we go back to work, we go back to what we know as normal. But that would potentially be contrary to what the doctors would say. Potentially the doctors would say, you can't go back to work, you can't go back to school. But we would be taking what Governor Walz said and go ahead and go forward with that. But has anybody asked? We always hear this, we're all in the same boat. No, we're not. We have 69 graduates. We don't have 800. We're not in the same boat, healthcare-wise, in Aiken County as we are Hennepin County. And has anybody asked our local healthcare providers that question? Have we asked, what are your thoughts about having an in-person graduation? Because right now we're listening to the governor. We're not listening to potentially the healthcare providers of Aiken.
Okay. So my question that I was going to ask was, did our specific plan get taken to the Department of Education?
No, it did not. It didn't go. We didn't have to submit a plan. The plan.
Why don't we?
No,
I didn't see what they say.
I don't know if they'd say anything. I think it wasn't. We weren't supposed to be submitting plans. We were supposed to come up with a plan to meet the guidelines. I don't know what they do if I submit a plan. I don't know if they respond or react, or if that would. Again, I'm assuming they shouldn't, but I would assume that anything that went against what the Department of Education is recommending, they would say we shouldn't do. But without having sent that plan or having any it's not going to be, when we had our, we're dealing with our distance learning plan, where somebody contacts, and here's our plan, it's on our website, so on. The MD never set up something like that for graduation plans. They just gave us the guidance and asked us, told us to follow. So I don't know if we get an answer at all. So I have written letters to, well, I talked to Dale Lloyd-Cumber, I sent him a letter, I emailed Kerry Root, I emailed the governor, or I sent letters to them. Again, I had a good discussion with Mr. Lloyd, but I haven't heard much back. I haven't heard anything back from Kerry Root, and I got a form letter back from the governor. So I don't know if we get an answer or get any either way on it.
I guess we don't know, we can try.
How about, we've heard from the governor talk about the June 1 date. I guess that's what the governor said June 1 and things are back open. If there are precautions beyond that day, I'm certain we can facilitate that and still have a ceremony for these kids and their families. I mean, common sense. For every person you listen to who's trying to scare them, you know what out of people, and there are plenty of those. There are those that are saying, time out here. Society's being impacted. For heaven's sakes, you guys are the brunt of it. Graduating seniors by this ongoing thing. So I'm just not going to. And we accept information from all kinds of sources, and then we have to make decisions. But I think a decision to support graduation after the official day the governor has reopened Minnesota is safe and sensitive.
Okay, board's wishes. Is there a motion, or? Well, I'm assuming we'd have to make a motion to change graduation day?
Yeah, I think it's part of the official calendar, so I have to follow. If we want to adjust that, I believe it takes a board motion, so approval. And at this point, I just want to be clear, just moving the date doesn't automatically change the process. I mean, it depends on if and what the changes on June 1st, if and how that affects what we can do in schools. So,
no, that's fine. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. We can't predict. If on June 2nd something comes landing on top of us, we may have to adapt. I totally agree with that, Dan. But I think we can plan, and so I'll make a motion that we change the graduation day to Friday evening, June 5th, and we host the graduation at Veterans Field, and we'll set it up safe and secure, and hopefully give you a send-off that you're worthy of.
If we're within that.
Absolutely.
If we were within that,
we will work within the safety parameters, the health guidelines of the spacing and the seating and the handoff of the diploma and all those kinds of things. And got indicators from parents that, yeah, that's fine, but let's get these kids together. So I'll make a motion that we make that change.
Is there a second?
Yeah, second.
There's a motion by Joe, second by John. Discussion.
Cindy, Noel, and John, did you hear the motion?
I did.
Okay, John, did you hear the motion?
Yeah.
Cindy, did you hear the motion?
So I think the motion was to change it from the 29th to June 5th, is that correct?
Yes.
And then are you calling for discussion right now?
Yes. I just want to make
No,
sure.
I already have the second. Call for discussion.
Yeah, we already had the motion and the second, so now we're at discussion. Before we went to that, I wanted to make sure all three of you heard.
Mr. Catlin would like to say a word.
Yeah, so did.
Okay.
Go ahead, Tim.
Go ahead, Cindy.
Hi, Cindy.
Cindy, hold on. I'm sorry, I misunderstood that.
I just want to relay this. I just sent a message to Assistant Public Safety Director in reference to the numbers.
Can you speak in the microphone?
Whoops, sorry. I just sent a message to our Assistant Public Safety Director of the state of Minnesota And I asked him about the large groups opening June 1st. And yeah, you're right, he can't give an answer, but he's thinking starting at June 1st, you might get 25 to 50 would be probably your limit. So you're already going to have that limit. He doesn't see any more than that, but again, that's a guess too. So I'm just asking if you change that date, just what you're saying, you know, I can only tell you what he's telling me. You still might be down in the low numbers, and so there you are, you're right in the same situation you're in. If you don't change it. I just thought that was important to say, and he was able to respond. So thank you.
Thanks, Tim. Thanks, Tim.
You guys on? Did you hear that? Jim?
I couldn't quite hear.
Basically, who'd you contact? Okay, Tim's contact said that this Tim Catlin, June 1st, some things might open up, but the groups probably wouldn't be bigger than 50 or 60 or something like that. No guarantee on that. Those you listening, if I'm paraphrasing that well enough.
It was 25 to 50 people.
25 to 50 people would be allowed.
And it was the public safety director for the state of Minnesota.
The public safety director for the state of Minnesota.
Who is guessing at what the numbers are going to be?
I'm
Take a pure guess. Like so many you have throughout.
Okay, hold on. I think Cindy's up first. Go ahead, Cindy.
I was just wondering if you would please ask the student that spoke. She said that she was elected to speak on behalf of the and I want to know if she's making the recommendation to switch to June 5th. I don't know if they just contemplated, I don't know what the survey was. If the survey was just later in the summer, I don't feel comfortable moving forward with a date change unless she says that she is comfortable on behalf of the entire class recommending that date.
I did not say on behalf of the entire class. I had 40 responses out of 69, and 38 said yes, they would rather wait into the summer. No specific date, but later into the summer if it meant an in-person ceremony.
So what she said is she had 40.
Sorry, talking to that, you guys are. She had 40 respondents to the survey, and 38 of them said they would prefer moving to a later date.
So is she willing to recommend this June 5th date to her classmates?
Are we just trying to put it on her?
Well, I think it would be, I don't know if I put it on the student.
I don't know if I could say on behalf of the whole class because I only had 40 responses.
I don't think that's fair.
I don't want that responsibility.
I agree. I think if we decide, she's saying she only had 40 responses, so she couldn't answer on behalf of the whole class. But I guess if we decide to do this, would be the adults saying we're going to do them and not put it on to the students, have them make that call.
And Mr. Ryan said that he would take responsibility if other parents said that they were not happy with moving the date 1 week. Is that right?
Well, of course. Responsibility for my decision
I think he said
to move forward.
meeting expressed concern about changing the date without hearing feedback from people, and I think you said you would take responsibility for that.
Based on my understanding that this is the desire of the seniors and the majority of their parents. Then I will recommend it, that we move forward to approve it.
Is there a way to find out from the senior, Scott? Paul?
I wish I could say yes, Jenny, but I'm not getting homework, let alone daily communications.
What you're saying is they don't all have enough credits to graduate?
No, we're going to get them there, Danny, but it's to get timely response at this time.
40 people out of 69 was pretty impressive.
I was going to say, I'm actually really impressed with Hannah's return rate there.
I'd also like to point out, just really quick, I have perhaps 25 of 69 seniors who have answered at least 4 different requests to answer questions for the newspaper for their graduation section, which comes out May 27th. So if you're not getting any
we don't have a really good way to get a hold of everybody.
So we're teaching them and we don't have a real good way to get a hold of them. Is that what you're telling me?
Danny, we're doing the best we can.
I understand that.
We email, we we can call individually. They may not answer their phones. We went to every senior's home a week ago, and there were still a few of them that we didn't see because they were either working or didn't want to come out. So, we can. So I can't guarantee you 100% at this point. Then
I'm sorry, Scott. Process of elimination. You know who those 40 are that were surveyed, or was it a blind? It was anonymous. Okay. Shoot. Thought we maybe could call that or start with the rest, but I have to believe too that in short order, there's got to be some way that we can find out, make an effort to communicate with these seniors, and maybe it's a measure of classmates reaching out to fellow seniors and saying, hey, are you in or not for graduation? If we're not, then this is a moot point. But if you are, then I'm prepared to move forward with a motion to support a ceremony.
Yep, John wants to say something. Go ahead, John.
Two questions, comments, make things here. We had some very passionate individuals speak. Have they communicated that to our legislative body and the governor? We are working under that pretext. They really should. Have they been encouraged to do that by their government class and so on and so forth? But the more important part right now for me, I'm looking for clarity. Regardless of when we have this event, is it going to be within the parameters that you, Mr. Stifter, have done a huge amount of research and your team to make sure we're doing it within the legal parameters of liability and all of this other stuff? With this graduation program, be within those well-researched parameters, or would it be something else that we've been talking about off and on in the last 4 or 5 minutes?
If I can answer, I guess my thought is, and clarify the motion if it's wrong, but we would proceed planning basically for the same ceremony within the cars, and it would be an in-person ceremony. It's not a virtual one. The same ceremony, except we'd be in the cars unless we had guidance that changed from MD or from the state or from somebody prior to June 5th. I think what this does is buys that week of time when other things are being opened up to see if things open up for schools to do graduation.
Let me make clear that we're going to support a graduation ceremony on the 5th, Friday the 5th. It's not going to be in cars. Okay, state's open. We're going to do a real graduation ceremony, and we'll space them out, put families together, whatever that plan is. But in my opinion, no, not cars. We could do that 2 weeks from now or whenever graduation is. No, I'm not promising. I'm just saying we're going to make a motion. We can set a date. We can plan this graduation. We can't promise anything because of what could happen. That's life.
So when you made the motion, when I asked you about if we were within the parameters. So I think the motion is you want it to be in chairs if possible, but if it's not able to be possible, is it going to be...
Then we'll have another decision to make.
To postpone it or to stay within the perimeter, the guidelines?
We'll stay within, I'm assuming that if we do this on the 5th on Friday night after June 1, we are going to be within the guidelines. Are we not?
We have no idea.
Okay, so let's roll. Should we put it off to July? We don't know if that would work either. That's all I'm saying. Let's make a plan. Well, we have a plan that's not satisfactory, or we wouldn't have all these people there.
All right, Cindy wants to take Cindy there.
Can we say that their recommendation regarding graduation was not going to change based on that new first date?
I haven't seen anything that said it was going to change, but it's...
Can you repeat the question?
She asked if you've seen anything that said the graduation requirements would change after June 1st.
I think we need to draft something to them with our plan, specific plan, the footages we have, let them tell us yes or no. Or not just a blanket statement from the state. Gotta be somebody.
We can do that. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, that's my caution there.
Well, we're away from the motion now. Dennis just said, away from it, but said he wants our plan submitted to MDD to have them specifically say no to our plan, to have kids on the field spaced out.
I think there's a motion. Did they withdraw it, or do we need to vote that motion?
Well, we're still in the discussion stage, Cindy.
Still in the discussion stage.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. I can't hear unless they are speaking.
Okay, I'm sorry. So we're still in the discussion stage.
We have a parent who would like to comment.
I just wanted to speak to the issue that Mr. Shute raised. I know that probably every parent that's here tonight has sent letters and emails. They can raise their hand if they did that. I know that I personally sent snail mail letters and emails to Mr. Luke, Ms. Rude, Ms. Ricker, Department of Health, and the Office of Higher Education. Mr. Luke is the only one who responded in any fashion, not even a form letter. You got a form letter at least. Oh, and Governor Walls. And the concern and the issue that was raised by those parents is that we want an in-person, not in vehicles, graduation that is within safety guidelines.
Okay. Any more discussion?
Any more comments from those of you on panel?
Can I speak from back here rather than walk up? Are you open for discussion? I just want to point out the fact that I don't want to put anybody in danger. I don't want to put the school board at risk for liability. My mom is 79 years old. The last thing I want to do is risk anybody's health. But I think we can do it in a smart way. And I think there are a lot of the parents in agreement that we just need to do it smart and careful. The liability issue, kind of sick of hearing that from the school board, certain members of the school board. I understand you have a job to do, but we need to use our common sense. Thank you.
I guess I'll put the school board. I'm the one that's been bringing in. I'm the one that's been dealing with our law firm and wanting to make sure we cover our liability aspects. So I'll take that one on. And it's just sharing information with the board as I get it. So Mr. Bailey would like to make a comment.
Yeah, I'm thinking that I'm talking about cars and football fields. What is the possibility that the kids can have their caps and gowns on and come in that southwest corner of the field, 6 to 10 feet apart, and kind of march over to where the table is, pick up their diploma, and either march around the field or whatever they're up to, as long as they maintain a distance. Therefore, they're out in the open, and they're not in the car. And I don't know. I have a hard time going one way or the other here simply because we don't know what the governor's going to do on June 1st. If he does open something up and we can social distance something, now we're just talking about a kind of a march around the field.
Thanks,
Thanks, Noel. And I agree. I think that's a great idea, Noel, and I think it might be part of what Paul is indirectly proposing. If we do the open field, no cars, and it goes to Lisa's point as well, that we use common sense, safe measures and make this happen if we're going to do it at all. I don't feel like we're going rogue here because that's not cool either. It's after June 1 and we have a bunch of interested seniors and parents wanting to celebrate graduation, and I don't think it's a rogue idea to be able to do so safely.
Any more discussion from the board?
Can we hear the motion again? Exactly how it's written?
Mary, no.
Mary's should have that.
So we have a motion to change from the 29th to June 5th, and they want to be, let's see here, because we can't predict what's going to happen, but they said in chairs if possible, if the guidelines and the parameters are allowed. But I guess we have to be explicit in, do we want to say in chairs or in cars?
Well, we don't want it to be in cars.
No. Cars are out of it if we do it this way.
So in chairs.
You heard the response from the group, so it's chairs.
Okay.
But within the guidelines.
Within the guidelines, yeah. Can you repeat the motion? Okay. So,
Mary, you want to come up here and read the
Okay, so the motion is to change from the 29th to June 5th, out in Veterans Field, in chairs, if they allow for the guidelines and parameters that are set for it. Not in cars, but in chairs.
With allowed by the guidance.
Right.
So if it's not allowed by guidance, we're still in cars, and that's not
No, I'm saying we're not in cars, and we'll do, in so many words, what Mr. Bailey just spoke of. We'll space everybody out properly, safely. If they want to wear a mask, they can wear a mask. Like I said, I think parents can have some input on how this happens, and seniors can have some input on how this happens, so it's done safely.
Clarification again, Mr. Schiffer. Does that mean your the research that you did, does it meet that criteria?
No, it wouldn't. I would ask for a roll call vote so we can record. Yeah.
Please do.
At this point, it doesn't.
Right, I understand John's question. So are we going to revisit this if it's not allowed in chairs on June 5th?
I think we need to.
Was that involved?
I think we need to. I'm not ready to be a chairperson on this kind of a situation. I still think we need to keep people moving and keep them idle. I still think the lineup type thing can be a part. If you're home off the table, you keep walking and everybody cheer and throw your hat up in the air, but I don't know. I just can't go totally with this, depending upon what you know, I guess.
Remember, too, part of this is we're going to be able to listen to the senior presentations. There's going to be some music, and some of those kinds of things that go with the pomp and circumstance of graduation, and so that it is done in the right way.
I guess the way I'm going to vote on this motion is that if on June 1st, the governor says you can't do it yet, then we're not going to have it June 5th because you're going to have cards to do it. So we would wait.
Ultimately, I think you got to vote on it as if it's happening in chairs, period. Because there's graduations across the state happening next week. There's graduations happening June 10th. So if he comes out June 1st and says, go ahead with your graduation ceremony, but didn't allow the people that graduated at the end of May to have a ceremony, they're going to feel not happy about it. So I think that he's not going to change. It's just going to be watered down jargon that comes out on June 1st. So when we vote on this, we've got to vote on the sense of in chairs, social distance, 15 feet apart, and a great plan put together by our administration moving forward that way.
I just have a question. What are we going to do if it's raining on Tuesday? I don't know.
Get wet.
Get wet.
Get wet.
No, what I meant was like, are they still going to let us have chairs on the field and everything? That's what I was meaning by raining.
Yeah.
I heard a wise senior in the class of 2020 say, who cares if it's raining? What else could go wrong?
Well,
I know, it's a great question. The reality is that's a great question, and I'm not making light of it. I'm just saying that's a possibility anytime you have an outside graduation. And I've seen a lot of them where they have the fortunate situation of being able to transition inside to an auditorium or a gymnasium. And we won't have plan B if that's the case. So that's a great question.
Kevin, you have something?
I want to call the motion.
Okay.
Can you be explicit in the motion so we have it the way that you want it?
So who made, Joe made the motion?
Joe, yeah. Okay, so Joe Ryan made the first motion, Jeremy Jansen seconded it.
Correct.
But you guys are adding and changing, like, only in cars, but then you said no if he said, so we need to be explicit in the motion.
Joe made the motion.
Okay.
The whole idea of moving it back a week is so we don't have to be in cars. Got another person in the audience would like to speak. But let me clarify just 1 second, Steve. So, Mary, that is the clarification. The only reason we're doing this a week later is so that we can have a graduation with chairs and not cars.
Get your haircut on you first.
That's right.
Okay, so the motion is to have graduation on June 5th with chairs, not cars.
Yes.
Okay.
That's cool.
Hold on.
I called the motion already. So, each one's verified Ken's question and got it. Thank you.
Okay, we'll do a roll call. Jeremy?
Yes.
Kevin?
No.
John?
No.
Noel?
Not on the chairs, no.
What did he say?
No. Not on
You're
chairs.
saying no?
I'm sorry. Either I'm abstain or I agree with part of it, but I don't agree with having the chairs out there.
The option is no, to have it out there with chairs or to have it out there with either cars. So you don't agree with the chairs or you don't agree with the cars?
I don't agree with the chairs. As the motion is written. Okay, now then.
Okay, Cindy?
Cindy?
I am going to vote no because I think that there's more likely that people will not be able to attend, either because they're high risk or because of change of date. And so I think it's in the best interest of a community to vote no.
Just need a yes or no.
Okay, Joe?
Yes.
I'll vote yes. So failed 4-3. Okay, so is there any other motions, or we'll leave it on June 29th or May 29th, or what?
I would make a motion that if the summer the restrictions loosen up, that we are able to hold an in-person graduation, that we would move forward with that in addition to this one on May 29th.
She wants to graduate.
So we do it May 29th, according to the proposed or presented. If
motion would be to do the graduation on May 29th, and then if it opens up, to host another graduation later in the summer. Is that correct?
In person.
In person.
Yeah.
Yeah, not in the car.
Correct.
Okay, is there a second? Did John and Noel hear that?
John, Noel?
I heard it.
Is there a
Let's move on.
John seconded it.
John seconded it? Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll do a roll call. Gary?
No.
Kevin?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Noel?
Yes.
Cindy?
Yes.
Joe?
No.
I'll vote no. 4-3 to have graduation on May 29th in cars, and if something can be set up later, that would be, I guess, Paul or job to do that.
We'll consider.
In person on the summer one.
Okay. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
We will.
Make sure that you let me know what you're doing after graduation.
I can't hear you.
I was just letting the people here, the graduating class, that you'll need to know their addresses after graduation, so that we get in touch with them.
Thanks, everybody, for coming. Old business, policy, second reading on these policies. And I understand there was a policy meeting and nothing else was changed.
Yeah, nothing on these policies were changed. We talked about the complaint policy, and we're going to bring that back to the policy committee in June. So there was no change or discussion of the 500 policies that are on the agenda.
We have a motion to approve? Or what? Okay.
Joe,
I just had a couple of questions, I think, after reviewing. I was the one who didn't have a review. Policy 510, number 4, and I didn't write the name, scholastic eligibility. And I think it pertained to one of the, I got to open the workbook up quick.
I can pull it up for you.
All right. My question was around the last paragraph on page 1, carrying over for a semester, and I just want clarity on this. If a student 9 to 12th grade receive failing grade at the end of the spring semester, they will be ineligible for the first 2 weeks of the two school sponsored competitive events, whichever is longer of the fall season. And my question is, and I think has been asked before, but I don't know, is there any way that we would allow, if those kids were to attend summer school and achieve a passing grade, that they would be deemed eligible in the fall?
Absolutely, Joe, absolutely, that's exactly.
Okay.
That's exactly how we do it.
Okay, that's what I thought, but
They attend summer school, they earn the credit back, they
Okay.
automatically become eligible at that point.
all right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks. The other one was policy 519, I believe it was. Let's see here.
Interviews by alternate.
yes. That one in particular with the red, I think it had some red on it. Oh, I know what it related to. Maybe it wasn't number 519. And the question I had was around student surveys. Paul, maybe you can clarify this. You remember there were some issues last year with the survey that was conducted. And I don't know if it had gone through you or you weren't sharp. I think I talked to Mr. Our acting superintendent, interim superintendent at the time. Yeah, and it's just one of really questionable intent. All kinds of social questions that they don't have any place, I don't think, in the school.
Was that a survey through the school district or through the state of Minnesota?
I think it was one through the state of Minnesota, but it wasn't a required survey, and I think you remember that. I know I talked to Jeremy about it. So what is this? This isn't even.
It's a census data collection. Every year or every other year, the state of Minnesota sends that out to all school levels to try and gather as much information as they can, whether it's a tobacco issue or alcohol or something of that.
Yeah, but there was some.
That was very.
It was sexual preference and all.
We need to review those surveys before we're passing them out. Okay. Period. I mean, there's.
And Paul, I think we had that conversation.
Yeah, we did.
Total agreement. Just think we need to understand what's being sent out to the kids.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I think that's the state surveys every 3 years. Every third year they try to collect it.
All right. Let's see if there's other. And then the other one pertained to. It pertained to. I didn't write it down here. Policy should reflect that a parent was contacted anytime we're questioning students about a matter. I'm sorry, I lost it. I thought I had it written down here. I thought it was number 519. I can't find it. I made a note, but I said, I do believe that with underage, with students who aren't of a legal age, that their parents do need to be contacted and approve certain questioning. Is that in line with...
Does that pertain to the police liaison officer?
Yeah, there are matters when the police, we don't have any say whatsoever. But the police does. The police officers do.
Police liaison officers cannot question a child of any age unless they contact the parents.
Okay.
That has to be done.
Okay.
And then as far as when Jason or I are in contact with a student, that should be followed up by a phone call from every time that we deal with those kids.
Yeah. My thought was that approval should be granted by parents. If there's an accusation made against a kid, maybe it's not legal, but it has to do with something that could potentially be that if they're underage, their parents need to be notified. They're involved. I think there's a liability on our part, and it could compromise, a kid or student unjustly too. So I want to make sure that, however that's worded, the policy committee can figure that out, but let's make sure that's in place.
It says right here, it says right here in A under number 3, in the case of an investigation pursuant to the Maltreatment of Minors Act, Minnesota Statute 626.556, sub 10, a local welfare agency, the agency responsible for investigating the report, and the local law enforcement agency may interview without parental consent an alleged victim and any minors who currently reside with or who have resided with the alleged.
That would be the one exception. So if there's a concern or a maltreatment complaint submitted to social services or whoever, and they come in to investigate, the parents, they don't have to the
Oh, I
parents.
see.
If they think it's a parent who might be doing the abuse.
Okay, so it's not a complaint that comes from within the school where all of a sudden we're gonna interrogate a kid.
Social service or somebody get involved or a
Here's-
family report type thing.
Here's the situation we might run into. This has happened, where there might be bruises on a child.
Sure.
Those are the kinds of situations where then we have to go to public health, over to the sheriff's department or police department and make sure that's investigated. We don't have to call a parent in that aspect because they could be trying to hide something.
Okay. Okay. I forgot, we have a motion? I don't think so. Is there a motion to approve these policies?
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
Motion Joel, is there a second? Kevin? Any more discussion? All in favor, state, will we have to do a roll call?
Oh, I think we're supposed to. I mean, that is one thing. I think we're supposed to do roll call and have people on.
Roll call. Jeremy? Yes. Kevin?
Yes.
Okay.
It's just to approve.
It's approve the policies, the 500 policies from the policy committee meeting as approved or as presented by the policy committee. All right.
Cindy?
Cindy,
Yes.
approve or is that a yay?
Yes, I approve.
No?
No.
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Joe? Yes. I'll vote yes. Motion carried. New business. Is there anything under the consent agenda anybody needs pulled or explained?
I just have a question about, I see that we've got some assistant and JV dance coaches resigning. Has there been any interest in the head coach position? Do we know, has Alex said anything yet?
He hasn't said anything.
As we, John, Jared?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just hope everybody got a chance to read those. They're telling about a future policy that we can, I think, improve on.
Okay. Is there anything else? If not, is there a motion to approve?
Is there,
John?
John, you make motion?
I was going to ask a question, I guess, but I missed something. I can't hear it.
We're approving the consent agenda.
Okay. I was just going to ask a question about it, but that's fine. Go ahead.
Okay. So we're waiting for a motion.
I'll make a motion. Kevin makes a motion.
Kevin made the motion.
I'll
Will second.
No seconded. Any discussion?
I was going to ask, what, could you explain number P? P on it? For the reassignment or what do you
That's
call
not
it?
part of the consent, John. I'll explain that when we get there.
Okay, kind of ahead of ourselves. Thank you.
Yep.
That is part of it. That's part of it.
Oh, is it, or just?
Once it gets to the letters, then it becomes its own, then we have to vote on each one.
Yeah. So we go to letter B. Is there a consent?
B?
Letter A.
Consent agenda ends on 11.
All the way down to number 11. and then-
H is, okay.
Yeah.
So through number 11.
Through number 11, yeah.
Roll call. Jeremy?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
Cindy?
Yes.
No.
Noel?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Joe? Yes. I'll vote yes. Motion carried. Now we'll move on to B, approve resolution granting the 2020 Sweetman scholarships as follows: to Carly Schreck, 60%, and Carson Wagner, 40%. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, roll call. Jeremy? Oh, excuse me.
Joe?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
Cindy?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Noel?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Me, yes. Dennis? Okay, move on to C, graduation list.
This as presented.
Are there any questions on the graduation list? These are new.
Yeah, we're gonna be here, each letter, all the way down the road.
Sorry. Do we get the,
We should,
we get the unrequested leave of absence? I should have had this stuff on your consent.
I mean, everything through R should have been, or QR should have been on the consent agenda.
Yeah, then it's
Everything before that?
down to
Through
R,
R
down to R.
should have been on the consent agenda, not just the first letter A. But we're stuck in it. Okay, graduation list, roll call, Jeremy?
Yep.
Kevin?
Yep.
Cindy?
Cindy?
Noel?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Joe? And I vote yes. Passes. The transportation agreement with Aiken County.
I could address that a little bit. It's if they have to move handicapped people due to the pandemic out of the living area or maybe to the hotel, they were asking if they could use a van or a handicapped bus to transport people. Should they need to move them from like a hotel that they'd be staying in to therapy? One of the county health workers is a bus driver, so he would be licensed and good to go. So.
Okay.
So moved. Second.
Joe. All in favor? Jeremy?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Cindy?
Yes.
Noel?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Joe? I vote yes. The contract for the farm to school.
Just this year's prices.
Okay. Questions on that or motion, I guess?
Make motion.
Kevin?
Second.
Okay, no discussion. Jeremy?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yep.
Cindy?
Yes.
Noel?
Yes.
John?
John?
Yes.
Joe? I vote yes. Motion carried. Santander lease. That's for a bus?
Yes, this is for the bus. We had approved it already. We just didn't have the lease documents weren't done. We had the proposal in there. This is the official document that we need to have a board approved in order to do the financing part of it.
Okay, motion?
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
They want, yes, but once we have the actual agreement, they told me they need another motion. Sorry.
I do.
I think it was Noel or John. I think John did it.
Yeah.
Noel?
Second.
Noel.
Yeah. William.
John made the motion, Noel seconded.
I'll second.
Okay. No discussion? Jeremy?
Yeah.
Kevin?
Yep.
Cindy?
Cindy?
Yes.
Noel?
Yeah.
John?
Yes.
Joe? Yep. And I vote yes. Motion carried.
Yes, I think we do G and H together because it's all in the same contract.
Okay.
That's for the mock ocean inspections that we do throughout the year, and then it's our annual asbestos agreement to have IEA come in and do asbestos checks throughout the building and do testing there.
Okay. So we need a motion to approve G and H together.
So moved.
Noel?
Second.
Jeremy seconded.
No discussion? Jeremy?
Does that include like they did with the sheriff department last year? Aiken and Woodbury for Hill City?
No, this is more just health and safety.
Health and safety?
Electrical, the fire, everything that those types of things.
Jeremy voted yes. Kevin?
Yes.
Cindy?
Cindy?
Yes.
Noel?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Joe? And I vote yes. Motion carried. Okay, the phone system.
This is a service plan with the new phone system that was approved, and I'm recommending that we approve the 5-year gold level plan. That would be the middle of the range plan, and I don't have the dollar amount right here. But it's
I'll make a motion.
Kevin? Second?
Second.
John? More, any discussion on that? Jeremy?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
Cindy?
Yes.
Noel?
Yes.
John?
Yeah.
Joe? I vote yes. Motion carried.
The next one, the MOU with Ed Minnesota, has to do with teacher evaluations, being that Minnesota Department of Education was very clear on not to do evaluations necessarily on, or job performance evaluations on during the distance learning, since it was new for everybody. We had to do a memo of agreement with Ed Minnesota to say we would base, the principals would base their evaluations on the first 3 quarters of the year, that there wouldn't be evaluations fourth quarter during the distance learning.
How many evaluations in the high school are supposed to be during the year, Dan?
There's typically, the statute requires every third year to do a formal evaluation, which is 3 evaluations a year. It recommends evaluate and then 1 evaluation every year. But the requirement is 3 evaluations a year on your.
Yeah, so I knew that number. I'm just wondering, like this year, I know at one time last year, Paul was hoping to be at like 45 or 6 evaluations, and at one time was at 13. And so I'm just wondering how many prior to this actually happened, you know.
Yeah.
And maybe even for Andy in the elementary building too. So I know they have other things going on. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying how many we get to.
Do we have a percentage of your evaluations that you did do?
I mean, this year's unique. I mean, I didn't get near what I wanted to get done just with the stuff that happened in March. I had runs lined up for March and April, really.
Right.
Especially with the tenured group, you know, that every 3 years they do their summative evals.
Is it like a time then? Like them you typically try to get in the spring versus there's a.
You know, you try to knock as many as you can out before Christmas, or for sure, Thanksgiving, Christmas, but it just depends on how the year goes.
I had about 3/4 done. I had 4 of my non-tenured that had 1 to go. Other than that, I had all of them done. I was working toward the tenured staff when all this hit, so we were moving forward.
Is that typically the order you try to do it in too, Paul? Then like the tenured is.
Yeah. Tenured, the non-tenured, usually the first one is by October 31st. The second one is by January, the middle of January, and the third one is by the end of March, first part of April. So you spread them all throughout the year.
Thank you.
Answer your question, Jeremy?
Yeah.
Thanks. There a motion?
So moved.
Second. Discussion? All in favor, Jeremy?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
Cindy?
Cindy?
Yes.
Noel?
Yes.
Joe, or John, excuse me.
John, you got to unmute your mic.
Go ahead, what? I'm sorry.
Voting to approve the MOU with Ed Minnesota.
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
I vote yes. Motion carried.
Food service contract, that's with the food service workers. They stayed within the 2% guidance, basically. For the food service, 12-month administrative and less than 12-month administrative, we're all pretty much within that 2-month or 2% range that I was given.
Motion to approve?
Is that John? Or is that Noel?
That's no.
No.
Second.
Jeremy? Discussion? Jeremy?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
Cindy?
Cindy? Yep.
Noel?
Yes.
John?
John, you got to turn your mic on again.
Go ahead, yes.
Joe? I vote yes.
Same thing for less than 12 months.
12 months now. Less than 12 months? Same thing as the motion? Motion. Joe?
Second.
Second, Noel. No discussion? Jeremy?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
Cindy?
Cindy?
Yes.
Noel?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Joe? And I vote yes. Motion carried.
And the 12-month.
12 month. Same scenario?
Yep.
Okay. A motion by Joe,
Second.
second by Kevin. Assuming no discussion. Jeremy?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
Cindy?
Cindy? Cindy's froze.
She said yes.
Okay.
Noel?
I'll say yes.
John?
Yes.
Joe? And I vote yes. Assuming Cindy votes yes. Motion carries. Resolution discontinuing and reducing ed programs and positions.
That's all part of the budget cuts. You have the resolutions there. And then the follow-up is the unrequested leave of absences that go with that resolution.
So we have a motion. I don't think we have to do them individually. No. We have a motion for N and O, 1 through 4. So, Jeremy?
Second.
Second, Kevin?
Yep.
Any discussion?
John wants to.
John had something earlier.
Is that for P though?
John, did you have discussion here on the resolutions?
I was, am I on?
Yep, we're here.
Okay. I was trying to get a little clarity of how the system works for phone number 1 and P. How that all comes together. Ultimately, then we would have Q as well as part of that clarity. So when you get to it.
Well, what happens there is with the unrequested leave of absence, one of the individuals has seniority into the science department has requested reassignment there. So by reassigning that teacher to a science, then that bumps out another science, a different science teacher. That's what, so O triggers P, which triggers Q.
Okay, and now when a person uses that bumping method, we'll call it, are they taking the wage that they originally had, or are they taking the wage of a science teacher, of comparable 3-year teacher, or whatever?
No, they stay with the wage they had. It's all still because the contract was all part of the teacher contract.
No, they would stay at the.
It's not the same, right?
They're at the science rate of whatever years they have.
Right. Yep.
That's
What's their total? They still get their years of experience and their credits and those things that have been approved by previous.
But in this case, it will be a science teacher rate, not the specialist rate that he was getting, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Hearing no more discussion. Jeremy?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
Cindy?
Yes.
Noel?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Joe? And I vote yes. Motion carried. So then we have P.
Yep.
Request for Dan Altman to reassignment.
Second.
Motion by
Jeremy.
Jeremy. Second. Any discussion? Not hearing none. Jeremy?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
Cindy?
Yes.
Noel?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Joe? And I'll vote yes. Motion carried. Q, approved unrequested leave of absence for Amanda Stephens. We have a motion.
Yes.
Kevin?
Second.
Noel? Any discussion? Hearing none. Jeremy?
Go ahead, Cindy.
I would like to say that I know that there are a lot of people that are very disappointed that Mrs. Stebbins is not going to be able to teach, and I just wanted to extend very sad to see her go, and I just wanted to comment on that we appreciate the work that she's done. I think she's just a remarkable teacher, and just unfortunate as a part of this circumstance. So before I pass to the vote, I just wanted to throw that out there to make sure that everyone knows how much we have appreciated her.
I would echo that, as well as the other teachers in that view. Have had some good ones.
Was that a yes, Cindy?
Yes.
Noel?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Joe? Yes. And I vote yes. Motion carried. We did our, administrative report from
No PAC meeting.
no PAC meeting. Facilities and finance. Is there Mr. Ryan and Mr. Holt? You guys there?
At the meeting, we talked about getting the high school kitchen panel bid that we'll bring back to the facilities. Steve has two of them. We talked about the 5-year phone system with our service plan that we approved tonight. And then we're looking into some children's walls, or maybe some walls that are remodeling in the children's center. I think we're the big, and also Steve's looking at getting a bid for mowing. Kevin asked to have that, and he's going to meet this week yet with the only lawn care people that got back to him. So.
Okay. Policy committee meeting?
Yeah, most of what we discussed were policy 103, which we had the original MSBA form, kind of some changes to that, and then some ideas from the board that we will discuss, and then rediscuss at our next policy meeting. And so there was, go ahead, Dan, if you got something.
No. And I did send all 3 of those policies to the entire board, so you have, it just got to be trying to vote from one policy to another with people on Hangout. It was, we were struggling. So
it was a good conversation.
Very good conversation,
Thank you. Superintendent?
I'll keep it short. Enrollment's up one this month from last month. We're at that 31, let's see here, make sure I say this right. 30 kids down from last year at this time. So, but we did gain 1 in distance learning. The parade story, you're all aware of that. We had 2 stories. Carol Levin, Boyd Hooper did a nice job with it, as did KSTP. I forgot the guy's name. Just followed up with it. That was all teacher initiated, and the rest of the staff just kind of jumped in, a couple community members. I really think it was a great thing. Again, I wish I could say I thought of it. I think Paul probably said the same thing, but a couple of teachers, kind of the grassroots thing, and they took off with it, and it was pretty impressive. I think we made some great memories for kids, and it was and their families, but it was also very good for our staff that went with. Boy, we were at a point where we needed more help, but Houston really gave it, so that was really pretty impressive. If you haven't seen the stories, go ahead and Google them. 2020 graduation, board members' participation. I don't know if you're going to be a part of the graduation ceremony. Why don't you let Mary know that, or let her know after the meeting if you're interested. And then summer educational programs. I have we got the guidance last week, and I've looked through it. Like I said, with Laura's looking at some of the things we can do for Kids Plus or child care. There are some openings for doing some remediation. We did Paula's program, Edgenuity. Edgenuity, which we had some instructors work with in the past. So there are some openings there. We're looking at probably doing it in July, because we think again, as things change, we'll let us settle here in June, and then July. Right now, it looks like we'll be able to meet with up to 9 kids in a socially distanced area at a time, and those are in the planning stages as far as normally they're done and planned by the end of April, mid-April, but
Upcoming meetings, we have, I think there was an email, I read it today about graduation that Julie had sent out about for the preschool. There's meet and confer meeting, May 21st. Google and Personnel Committee, May 27th, Google. FFA chapter banquet, May 27th, 5 p.m. YouTube, I guess.
There's a website that he put on for you guys to look at for that night.
6th grade graduation, May 28th, at Rippleside at 1:30. Facilities and Finance, June 4th on Google. Graduation, May 29th. 7 p.m. is that, I'm assuming that's the same time. Policy Committee meeting, June 10th. Google and regular school board meeting, June 15th. Here and on Google. Work session, June 29th. Is there anything else? I guess, Heather, I have one question. You sent out an email about on the revenues. We were only at like 25% of the federal money. Is that because it hasn't been billed out, or they just aren't paying?
No, it's just a timing thing. Just we haven't done the entries yet.
Okay. Thank you. Is there anything else to the board? Motion adjourned. So moved. Jeremy? Second Joel, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Meeting adjourned. Thanks.
Thanks, guys. Meeting's been adjourned. Logging out here.